Hello and happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today, I am here for another Kingdom Building Live. I want to give you some encouragement today. And today, I'm looking at the encouragement coming from Galatians chapter 5, and I'm reading the New Living Translation. It reads, "But we who live by the Spirit eagerly wait to receive by faith the righteousness God has promised to us." And this word is already blessed by God. It means so many different things. But what it means to me is when it comes to waiting on God is necessary. And we have to trust what God has for us is even bigger than, whatever we have right now. And I can actually speak from experience here because um there's just so many things that was has been happening since like the end of last year, and I I didn't understand why, and I wanted to know more details, and I'm doing everything I can to get more information so that I can help myself through what I was going through, but I had to realize that I wasn't the one that could help myself. So if I can't handle the little things that God gives me, how can I handle the big things that are coming? And I just want somebody to be encouraged and to understand that the waiting room is a blessed room. Why is it that God didn't give us what we asked for? Why is it that He made us wait? Well, if we are, um, if we're tired of being tired, if we're tired of waiting and doing things that we think will help us get what we want quicker, and it's not happening, then now's the time to make a change. I encourage you to be patient and hold on a little while longer, because whatever you want is going to um, it's going to mean that you're just going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait it out so that you can wait it through, right? So you're waiting because obviously God is building us up. And if He's building us up for something, we have to be prepared for it. Otherwise, we're going to fail at it. We have to be ready to manage whatever God is going to bring us. I used to be a person who thought that I could just pray and I would get what I want. And I'm pretty sure that if you're listening to the sound of my voice, either you're there, you've been there, or sometimes you still struggle. You still go back and forth. So just like I had to think to myself while I was reading this chapter and this verse, like comparing that to our kids. If we compared um, us going to God when we want something, praying to Him when we want something, why is it any different when our kids do it? They just come and try to be nice and do chores and this and that when they want something, right? Well, we do the same thing. We do the same thing. Um, and it's even worse because we do the right things for so long, but then once we feel like everything's going good, we just stop. And the problem is because God knows our hearts, He knows that we're being selfish. So uh, He knows that we're just here because we want something. And I'm just thinking about my own children right now. I actually had a talk with my daughter today about this. Like her coming to me just because she wanted something. And I'm like, my God, right? I've already read the book. I've already did the study, and that was just something like, man. And there's so many different other, situations that can compare between our relationship with our heavenly Father and our relationships that our kids have with us right now. So another scenario, we um, think about the fact that the parent is the one who was going to make the decisions from now on, right? Or at least until they're an adult, at least until the children is adults. So why can't we understand that when it comes to Christ? Why are we thinking about why He hasn't brought us through? Why He hasn't shown us what we're doing? I had to realize that I was only going to God when I wanted something. I was only praying to Him so that I can get what I wanted or what I needed. Mm. I just thank God for bringing me through, because I realized at that point that I wasn't being consistent in my spiritual life. Not only in my life, my day to day life, but in my spiritual life, especially. The things that we think are going to bring us happiness, whether it be praying to God or going to get another job, or going to get more money, or doing whatever it takes, God already knows that whatever we're trying to do to get happiness is not going to last. If we think about somebody who might have hit the lottery, um, somebody who might have hit the lottery, they're happy. They're happy for now. They want to get what they want. They want the cars. They want to give money to their friends, their family, and do whatever. But then if you see them or if you hear about them months later, how are they living? However long it took. Sometimes it takes just a few months because the enemy can work that fast. It just depends on, you know, on if we let him in or not. Whether it takes a couple months or a year, a couple years, at some point it's going to be a downfall. And people are going to be talking about that downfall just like they were talking about you when you hit the lottery and when you didn't give them any money or when you did this and that instead of doing this and that. But at the end of the day, we couldn't maintain it. We were so excited because we hit the lottery and we want to do this and that and this and that, but they couldn't handle their money. They wasn't being frugal over their money. How many times have we prayed for something but didn't get it? We wondered why, we got upset. Well, like I said, God kept us from it so that, so that we could actually handle what we were praying for. Okay, so let me think back when I had a job. I'm not going to say the name of the job because it's pretty popular. And at this job, I had a pretty good position. I made pretty good money, but of course, like many others, I wanted a bigger position. I wanted more money, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen quick enough for me, so I quit. And when I quit, I ended up, struggling to pay my rent. I had no food. At this time, I had no children. This is way back. And I suffered from depression because I wasn't eating. I lost my car, so many different things. And it took several months for me to get back on my feet. And, back then, nobody was talking about God as much as they are now. So it took me some time because I was trying to be like them. Um, I wanted to be like the people who I was around. If they wasn't praying, I didn't want to pray. But the moral of the story, that story is that had I not quit, I would have seen that God had somewhere else for me to be. He had a better opportunity for me, right? I couldn't really handle the job that I was in. It was a lot of workflow. It was just a lot. And I was already doing a lot, doing too much as a young woman with no children, just shopping or doing whatever I wanted. And I wasn't being frugal with my money. So why would God go and give me this job with this better money and this better promotion? And I couldn't even handle the money I had. I was spending it as soon as I got it. So the problem was I quit. I quit before I got to see what God had for me. Maybe you are in a waiting season for some type of relationship. It could be a friendship or it could be a relationship with a partner. It seems like all of your other friends are happy because they are in relationships or they have other friends, and you don't know their life. You don't know what is really going on with them. They can make it look like it's perfect, make it look like it's roses, but just because we want it, you know, we're going to do whatever we can and act different or do whatever we can in order to obtain it. And it's unfortunate because God already knows our life. Maybe there's some things that we need to work on, something that, that is within ourselves that we need to handle before we are able to start another friendship or relationship or so forth. Maybe the person that you're waiting on or the person that you are um, trying to draw closer to is just not the right person for you. And most of the time, God is trying to save us from that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just encourage you to stay encouraged. Stay encouraged in knowing that God knows our life. He knows the plan on our life. Everything is strategic. And just because we would have to wait doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Again, the waiting room is a blessing. We want what we want. We want what we see, what we think that works for us. But that bigger house or that bigger car, uh, and things like that are not going to last. Especially if we've been in a situation where I know I have where we wanted this particular car and this car cost 20, 30,000 more than our income. Well, hmm, that could be a perfect example of God teaching us a lesson. If He allows it to pass, if we go ahead and get that car knowing that we can't afford it, maybe God is teaching us a lesson in that. And we're going to see that once we get to the time to pay that car payment or whatever that might be. And we struggle and we want to cry out to God and ask Him to help us. But if we would have just seeked Him first, then we wouldn't be in that predicament. So when we're in the waiting room and we start thinking about everything, it's a reason. God put us there so that we can think about the decisions that we make. We can think about our goals and what we want to do and things that we want. And He also, wants to get us into a space to understand that some things are just not meant to be. And we're going to realize that even more as we are sitting there patiently waiting for God. God shows us ourselves and He shows us how He wants certain things to go with us when we wait, when we are in our waiting place, where we're undistracted from anybody and anything else that is not of God or that is not going to help you grow. So, again, what God has for us is bigger than what we have right now. And we got to know how to handle what we have right now, the small things, so that we can handle the big things. I used to always hate when they said patience is a virtue, but it really is. It is a virtue. And a lot of us are not patient. It really shows, what type of character we really have when we start acting impatient. And it shows how we can act out to get what we want. And that's not a good thing. We have to endure. We have to endure in so many different things, so many different areas. But um, at the end of the day, we're going to see what God has for us. We're going to see the reward. And it's not the money and the fame and the cars and such. It's more than that. So I encourage you to not be frustrated. Don't be lazy. I encourage you to figure out why you're here, why you're in the waiting room, and why you didn't get to exactly what you waited for. We're here so that we can pray to God and He can show us in His way, in His time, what it is that He has for us. We don't want to go back to the old things. We don't want to go back to the old ways, being frustrated or annoyed or whatever, upset, whatever it might be while waiting. We want to grow in our relationship with Christ so that when He's talking to us, we can hear Him. When He's showing us things, we can actually open our eyes and see them. It says a lot about our motives, and it says a lot about our intentions as well, not only with God, but with other people. So I pray that you be encouraged by this message. And, at the end, I just want you to know that there is 4 main reasons why you're waiting. It's either not your time, you can't handle it, it's not for you, or because God is protecting you. So I love you, and don't forget to leave me a comment after this and let me know what you think. Stay blessed. Bye bye.